In the early 2000s, an evangelical pastor from Nigeria did the impossible. In the capital city of Ukraine, Kyiv, Sunday Adelaja built the largest megachurch in Europe, which is called the Embassy of the Blessed Kingdom of God for All Nations. At its peak, Adelaja was not just a religious leader, he was a kingmaker. He was a central figure in the Ukraine's 2004 Orange Revolution, mobilizing his massive, predominantly white European congregation to alter the political landscape of a European nation. He rubbed shoulders with presidents, mayors, and billionaires. But history has a brutal way of correcting those who miscalculate the nature of political power. Today, Sunday Adelaja's story is a stark cautionary tale for everyday citizens across Africa. It proves a terrifying truth about governance, that when you play politics with a corrupt system or defend a compromised regime, you are building your house on a sinking sand. One very important truth is that governments can change, but the consequence of systemic failure always land on the people. To understand the tragedy of Sunday Adelaja, you have to look at the trap of political alignment. As Sunday Adelaja's influence grew, so did his entanglement with the Ukraine's volatile and deeply corrupt political elite. He leveraged his massive congregation to support specific politicians, most notably the former mayor of Kyiv, Leonid Chernovetsky. For a time, this political shield made Adelaja untouchable. But corruption is never stable, and never a stable foundation. Adelaja was accused of involvement in a massive Ponzi scheme, which was called King's Capital. This King's Capital fleeced his own church members of tens of millions of dollars. When his political allies lost power, his immunity vanished. He faced criminal investigation, passport seizures, and heavy condemnation. But he stayed in Ukraine, navigating the fractured legal system for years, relying on changing political winds to survive. But then he forgot the fundamental rule of geopolitics. In February 2022, as we all know it, the ultimate collapse arrived. Russia invaded Ukraine. The institutions Adelaja had maneuvered through the decades were suddenly irrelevant. The corrupt, fragile geopolitical balance shattered overnight. Adelaja, an African immigrant who had amassed immense wealth and political capital in Europe, found himself fleeing for his life. The political connections he had meant nothing, and this is the exact point where Adelaja's European nightmare mirrors the daily reality of citizens living under corrupt African regimes. People often compromise. They support a corrupt government because of their tribal lines, short-term financial gains, or religious affiliations. They defend bad leaders, believing that their specific alignment protects them from the harsh reality of a failing state. But this is a very deadly delusion. Supporting a corrupt government because your person or your party is in power is a mathematically failed strategy. Why? Because government is a revolving door. Regime can change at any time through elections, coups, economic collapse, or even foreign invasion. And when that change happens, the corrupt politicians you defend will pack their bags, board their private jets, and fly to their mansions in London or in Dubai. They leave behind a broken health system, a ruined economy, and a decayed infrastructure. You cannot insulate yourself from bad governance. The bad roads don't ask for your political party before causing an accident. The broken healthcare does not check your voter's card before failing to save your child. The hyperinflation caused by corrupt economic policies destroys the purchasing power of the patriot and the critic equally. Sunday Adelaja's story shows us that no matter how much influence, wealth, or political cover you have, you cannot outsmart a failed system. When the system collapse comes, the system devours everyone. Stop defending corrupt leadership for temporary convenience. Stop believing that your proximity to power makes you safe. Governments will change. Leaders will fall. But if we do not build a functional, accountable institution, the citizen will continue to inherit the ashes of a broken society. Think about that.